Makes to go live. So
3, 2, 1. It says off air.
no, we're live. We're live.
Live
This is a
AF.
hockey podcast. We're professionals, so keep watching. First segment, go.
He's wearing a Leafs shirt.
Yeah. Well, they lost.
That's
I
the
mean, it was
first
seriously
segment.
though, it was a better game than I thought. So
And,
we'll
well,
talk about
anyway,
that later. But yes, I'm wearing the Leafs shirt because they did lose, as we're probably all well aware.
Leafs
Oh, wait.
won, Habs lost.
Yeah.
And I'm rocking some
We still got a
excellent
point
sunglasses.
though, so that's better than any of our other games.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction, I guess, that loser point.
I mean, it's as much as I'm used to calling it a Leaf win, I have a feeling that
Oh,
it's
this
going to
is
be going the
obnoxious.
other way this year.
What's going to be going the other way?
The fact that I call an overtime loss a Leaf win, I have a feeling that's going to come around.
All right, well, Crapshoots Hockey Pod. We are back for another week 4 at this point. The last week, we'll start with our bandwagon. We started with the Sens. They played. They basically did a Western road trip. They played Vancouver, Calgary, and then Edmonton, and they completely dominated. I mean, it was from what I had thought watching the games. It was very much a. If you're a Sens fan, holy crap, those were amazing games. I get that they played really well, but I also wonder, just from a competitive standpoint, it was sided wins. Great games.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it a win.
Yeah, I would call it a win purely for the fact that we did see like there was lots of goals. Like, I mean, if you were to rank it compared to most of the teams in the league, it was probably up there. It's just it was really one sided, and both of us, like, I mean, we're not supposed to be Sens fans. Like, we watching the Sens get 5 goals isn't exactly on the top of our list of things to do. Um,
I guess no, but we're looking for like
there was so much
solid
skill.
competitive
Like,
games.
their
But
power play was really good. It was really interesting to see how the coach pulled things together without Carlson. I really found that they gave Weidman a chance to step up, and he really got like he did really well. Specifically on the power play, I think he got 2 goals, and that was like it was really interesting to watch because you always assume that power play is so fast because Carlson is the guy running it at the point. But like from what I watched, like they zinged her around. Like they're really good at finding open passing lanes, and they'll just pass it right through the middle and get these open one
yeah,
class.
yeah, like well, your Mark Stones of the world and Mike Hoffman's
Mike
too.
Hoffman is
It's not
awesome.
even it's not even that those guys are fast, but my God, can those guys shoot?
Yeah,
It's like puck on stick and a snipe. Because and where I was going with that was off the hop. I thought initially like, okay, this was a loss for us. But
yeah.
then you think about it too. Calgary, I believe that was Yager's first game, was it not? Where he played against the Sens. If not, it was his second game.
Yeah.
And then you had, the McDavid factor against Edmonton as well. And then proving there, that's another storyline coming out of that is, you know, the Oilers are not the cup contenders that they were,
No,
set
for
out to
sure.
be. So that, and it was the Senators who really gave him that kick in the ass too. So
Yeah.
I wonder,
Do you have any notes for any specific like did you watch the Vancouver game?
Vancouver game, I watched the start because they're all late games. It was tough because
Yeah.
that was a midweek game. So I'm terrible at staying up past like 11 o'clock. I'm going to take these glasses off.
Word.
Oh,
All right. Well, I watched it. And what I really noticed right away was there's not very many people left on Vancouver that I hate. Like, I've just been kind of neglecting them all of these years, like especially the last like I don't know 4 or 5 years. I just like, well, I hate the Canucks. They got a bunch of plugs and whatever.
Burrows, Kessler,
Yeah, like all of these,
Bieksa.
and like I was watching it and I was like, holy crap, they actually have like I know they're rebuilding, but like Bo Horvat and they got some decent young guys that I didn't hate watching. Let's put it that way.
Because their big guy that is probably going to be up for some Calder talk is Brock Boser.
Yeah.
He's the one that's, the Sedins see it. They're like, yeah, no, we'll take 12 minutes a night. We'll collect our check. We're good. You guys develop. We'll play our role.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was.
Yeah, for sure. That was a big thing for me. Was no really like they're definitely committed to that rebuild, but I mean they were quick. Like they didn't look like they didn't belong. They just looked like they're not quite as well put together as somebody again that like the Sens who are so well coached.
And they've had those years of experience, right? Where,
Yeah.
In the infant stages, the Sens absolutely looked green and looked really,
Yeah.
They didn't look like an NHL team much. And well, that's not fair to say. It didn't look like an NHL team, but at least a
Some nights
competitive
maybe.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Consistently, it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, and that was pretty much it. Is I just really wanted to get across that, like, I mean, it wasn't the best hockey game I've seen, but like from what I expected watching a Canucks game, I actually kind of enjoyed myself.
Yeah, and that doesn't happen much, at least these days. It's a lot of slow hockey too.
Yeah,
Actually, Markstrom had in that game, I'm pretty sure he had what could be argued as the weakest goal of the year, and then a save of the year candidate
yeah, yeah. That game,
in
it
the
it
span
was
of like
like
3 minutes.
for sure because it just seemed it almost felt sloppy. And then especially compared to the other two games, like when they played the Flames, it was a much faster game. Well, I guess both teams are a lot faster, but it was really interesting to see how when the pace picked up, the Sens really got their shit going. Like they really roll with those high pace games, which is like as much as they demolished the Flames, it was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, and you have to think too with the sense they have to be able to play that fast paced game given the division, given
Yeah,
Tampa Bay, the Leafs,
yeah. And if you
given
get out of the division, then it's either Washington or Pittsburgh.
exactly. Once you get into the West, that's where you get your grind um, and go into the corners kind of games. But it seems based off, I don't know, they didn't really get into a grinding game.
Yeah.
So the speed game is obviously there for sure.
No, for sure. And then I think the Oilers, everything I had to say about the Flames game, I pretty much repeated for the Oilers game. It was just like I'm super impressed at how the Sens put themselves together especially against a team like Edmonton that we expect to be so strong.
Yeah, no, 100%. They competed and
Yeah.
like blew them out. I'm pretty sure it was Ottawa 11, Alberta 2,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like it was ridiculous. Like they really put a shit kicking on them. And I feel like the excitement factor for me was only brought down by the fact that it was just like, oh yeah, the Sens are up 5-1. Great. Like
Yeah,
as if I want to
gotta
keep
go into the
watching
two
this.
periods.
Yeah.
And here we go.
But like it was good hockey. I must like so I would consider it a win just because of those last two games. The Vancouver one, if that would have been the pace, I might have changed my mind because that was pretty slow. Like it was interesting to watch for me because I have like I said, I haven't watched Vancouver in so long. Um, but
And for a surprising factor too, you gotta kind of.
yeah,
I mean, the performance, not even just the surprising, the performance itself, I would say probably deserves a W for that one.
yeah, for sure. That's I mean that's really because it's Sens against a bunch of Western teams. You break it down. Like I didn't feel that overwhelmingly good, but when I went over all my notes and I went through the condensed, I was like, geez, you know what? There's some pretty good hockey in here. Like there was,
I guess condensed it, you see the good hockey. It's like okay, it was a good game.
yeah,
It was good, and then but what? That's the tough thing is if you're sitting there watching it, it's 4-1. Oh, okay, here we
yeah,
go.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So we'll move on to some crap news.
Corrupt news.
Yeah, that'll be our. If we can figure out a sound button thing.
I'll just do it.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. Uh, we'll start off with the new ratio out of TSN 1050. By the fans. It's one of those shows. I don't quite understand the reasoning, other than just to generate some sort of stupid hype. But Dark Guy has his own show on TSN now
Maybe
from 3 to 5.
maybe he was a radio broadcast student.
He
Maybe
was not.
no.
No. And I'd understand it then.
Maybe he just is. Maybe he's really good. Maybe he just knows his shit.
And yeah, hey, if he does, then I will gladly eat my words.
Are you gonna
And
listen? I'm gonna listen. We
I'm
should
definitely
listen. All
listening.
right, I'm
Oh, I'm
making a
definitely
note for
listening.
next week's episode that we're gonna listen to this.
He's doing it with oh shit. It's I am Toddy Tickles. I believe he was the old co-host with Dean Blundell
Okay,
on The Edge.
bird.
So a lot of the talk is I can't believe he's still relevant.
Well,
And
that's. I think that's the like. If they're gonna give him a radio show, that's not really like a publicity stunt kind of thing, is it? Like you don't just give someone a 2 hour slot.
and you know what? From what I've seen, he's very personable. If
Yeah,
that's if that's what you're looking for, then they've won. They must not be. They have enough stats, guys.
for sure.
Get
Like
personality on there. That's where I commend it.
I want to
Holy
watch it
crap!
before I judge because honestly, like I just feel like like it's TSN radio. They're giving the guy a 2 hour slot. Like, are they really that desperate for people? And if they are, I want to watch that train.
Then yeah, I guess it's must watch regardless. Actually, yeah, yeah. Good point. That's a great point.
We were gonna talk about Mark Strait, but then that's old news. Nothing.
Yeah.
He just got sent down because he's old man.
Well, because
Tavares
he
rumors.
was running shit for a while. It seemed you wanted to have the hope, but
Yeah, but not. I mean, the thing with the Habs is they're they're not short on mediocre defensemen. So it's like either you put in a super old guy or you give a young guy that's going to make just as many mistakes, but is going to only get better.
yeah, and that's a much better way of approach in that situation. It's probably a much better way to actually approach your lineup.
Yeah.
Unless there's
Although,
some sort of
God,
locker
man,
room thing. That would be the only time if he
yeah,
was just like the locker room piece, but he's not,
for sure,
obviously.
for sure. All right, Tavares rumors. We can't talk about this every week, so let's because it's gonna happen for the rest of the year. I know, but what's really like the way that everyone that are the articles and things that I'm reading, the way that they're putting it out there seems kind of ass backwards to me. Like
How so?
people are talking about how is he going to stay with the Islanders if they buy a new rink? Like,
And
is that?
that to me is not something that Tavares looks at as a bargaining
I
or
know, right? Like,
a
Bill,
thing that's gonna just set his decision. Like,
yeah,
yeah, the arena itself is just dog shit. But
yeah, like get him a team.
yeah,
I don't know. Like,
yeah.
it's just the way they're speculating the whole thing to me seems super strange.
And most of the speculation out of Leafs camp started when the whole Stamkos thing went downhill, and he stayed in Tampa Bay, took a discount. So it's like, okay, who's the next big time centerman to hit free agency? Oh, it's Tavares. Boom.
Yeah,
He's from Toronto.
Yeah,
So there you go. And this was before the whole Matthews saga. But then
but I'm still
to
seeing it.
your
Like,
point,
yeah, like I'm still seeing it everywhere. And then I guess my question that I was gonna ask you, because to me it's the only question that really matters for the Leafs is yes. I mean, what team wouldn't want John Tavares? That would give the Leafs basically a similar lineup to the way the Pens are set up.
where you got
But
a 1A and a 1B centerman.
that's it. And then you set up, but you guys just got Marlowe on what 2-3 years?
It was a 3-year deal. Yeah.
Yeah, and then with all of these young guys and their production coming up with all of these contracts, what like are they even going to have enough salary for their own team, much less to take on a guy that's probably going to get if he's in it for the money, he can get easy 10 mil on the open market.
Yeah. And there are so many teams that would just hand him 11, twelve
I was gonna say
million easy, I think. You know,
I saw an article saying as high as 13.
being a captain, it's not.
Look what he's done with such a mediocre team for
I
so
know.
long.
That's what I'm worried too. It's like I wanted to shit on it, being like he hasn't really done much, but he's done a lot considering like his line mates have been changing for the
Yeah,
goalies. I
that's
mean,
it.
just
He certainly
that's why they
passes
go
the
to
eye
rye.
test. Yeah, exactly. Like like you watch him play and it's like, yep, this guy is definitely like a legit superstar. So yeah, I mean, I would like to see him go to the Habs as well. We have the cap for it, but all of this rumor is that you trade for him. The Habs are not in contention for the cup this year. If anything, you keep your assets and you roll in,
And if you
and
don't get Tavares,
you
then
don't get Tavares. Then you
you
see
don't,
what else is out
and you don't
there,
lose
and
out on it, right? You don't
exactly
take that chance.
that's
Is
it.
a great point. Yeah, because I yeah, for the Habs, it's what they need,
Yeah,
100%. Then you
and
got your
then
1C, your 1D, and your 1G,
yeah,
and then you build around it. And for let's go back to the Leafs, if they were to do that, it becomes a Chicago Blackhawks scenario where your bottom six is a
they're gonna have to
rotating
come out.
door.
Yeah,
The guys that are coming up, you better have a good development system, a good farm system of guys coming through the pipe, where
yeah,
you can let go of Connor Brown because he
yeah.
signed a 4-year deal in who the fuck knows, where
Yeah,
you can argue, is that too much? He
that's it.
deserves it, but
Yeah, and then again, success will play a factor in that.
big time.
Is yeah. So I really yeah, that's a really interesting. At least I think that's a different way of looking at it. That I think is a little bit more realistic. Um.
Yeah.
All right, Habs Leaf segment. Habs notes. Keep it short and sweet because it's yeah, we're still trying to figure it out. And it's been tough to watch. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the Leafs game was a bright spot despite our defense not being I think it's not that they're not doing like they're not trying. It's just the new
Gary can't
guys.
see
I
anything.
was gonna say that seems like the new guys don't realize who's behind them and they're always in the way. And it's like
Yeah.
he almost looked frustrated against the Leafs because it's like, dude, there's a wrist shot from the top of the circle. Like if you would have let me see it, I could have definitely made that save.
Yeah, that game as a Leafs fan was kind of like, okay, are we really hanging around right now?
Yeah,
How have we not put these guys away? They've barely won. They're this, that, the other thing. And then,
yeah,
but you kind of see the goals that were scored on the Leafs. The Habs, it's Hockey Night in Canada.
yeah.
You don't not get fired up for Hockey Night in Canada.
That's
So
it. That's it.
there's
They
that
needed
there's
that
that
game.
aspect, right?
That's it. They needed that game so badly after the way that they've been playing. Like I feel like even though they lost, they came out of that with a like a moral victory because it's like, hey, they just came out there and they actually scored legit goals, which
Galchenyuk
was
got out of his slump.
yeah,
Drouin scored his first,
yep. And like they were legit goals. Like none of them, they weren't too ugly, which was
which was how the
you know,
Leafs scored their goals. It was three
yeah.
of their goals. Well, the one was
Well, the
was a
Matthews ones were
fluttering.
pretty shots.
Yes, you can say oh, Price lost an edge.
Yeah,
He was stumbling all over, but at the same time, like that, his two
the
shots
snipe
were
and a half.
quite incredible.
Yeah.
The overtime winner itself.
Yeah, that was the better
This
because that was he beat him cold. Like he beat him clean. The
and
first one
the
you could argue
yeah
that Davidson really got in the way of the sight lines and that Matthews just picked that perfect spot that he knew nobody could see. But man, that OT one, he beat him clean.
and even just to credit Nylander on that too, he fired a saucer pass right across the ice, and the skill that it took for Matthews, he knocked it down and just instantly fired it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? The hand eye that goes along with that, and number two, I'm sure that saucer pass from Nylander would have broke our wrists.
yeah,
Like he stopped it and then shot it right away.
yeah, for sure.
And then yeah, so it was from a Leafs standpoint, it was expected that you win,
Yeah, exactly.
But it was kind of like okay, thank God. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we should have won that.
Yeah. For the Habs, it was like well, it wasn't as
There's
bad
a
as we
building block.
expected. That's it. Like you can see that the new system is starting to make sense. That if the offense can come together, the puck movement is finally there, which it never really was. Now they just got to get the stuff that they had under Terrian down. They got to get it back.
Yeah, and that's where, you wonder, the new coach he wants to put in his new system, but now how long would it take for like fans, for media to start calling him out and being like, we need to do this, we need to do
It took
that.
them 3 games, and it's so
Exactly.
fucking annoying. Like, uh, don't get me started. Anyways, um,
All right, so I'm gonna take off these arrogant
yeah,
glasses now. Leafs won.
um,
We're happy about it. I need to see. Okay, so actually, the Leafs are on right now. I keep
nice,
looking at my phone for updates. Playing Washington. It was
sweet,
0-0 after the first period, and it's still 0-0.
nice,
So
cool.
yeah,
So, what did you see this week?
what do you mean for like news?
Well, you got your. I just went through all of my Habs stuff.
Oh yeah, for the Leafs. Ahead of this game, obviously I haven't seen any of it, but Marner was moved down to the fourth line. Uh, like we'd mentioned in previous podcasts, the JVR, Bozak, and Marner line is floating. They're the only ones who, in a game where you score 7 or 8, they're 1 or 2 points. And if
Yep.
you're looking at it, from a score sheet standpoint, that looks bad. Eye test, it does the exact same thing. Um, the real argument that Leafs fans seem to have from what I saw on Twitter today was people saw Marner move down, then they're like, well, it's not his fault that Bozak and JVR don't back check.
Yeah.
As a line, you got to do something. It's clear that Bozak and JVR are that pairing that, we talk so much about, with Babcock loving, his Matthews, Nylander. He loves his Kadri, Komarov. So they're not going to move those guys away.
Yeah.
So then Connor Brown has been doing his due diligence and just mucking it up in the corners, producing where he needs to.
Yeah,
So it
and
really
that's
makes sense to put him up into some sort of a scoring role.
well, that's it. Or even that, or you put him in on a line that hasn't been doing as much back checking so that he can change the tide of how that line works. Maybe it's just because he has too many similar guys on the same line that if he spreads them out a little bit more, those guys on the fourth line, they may make some more space for Mitch to be able to do, maybe he does the same thing he was doing on the other line, but he doesn't have two other guys doing it with him.
Yeah, and I think because this is very much something that Babcock did with Nylander last year, was he put him in the role he was expected to play, didn't do well, didn't do the things away from the puck,
Yeah.
moved him down, then realized, okay, wait a minute, you gotta cover your guy, get into good position, because if your line mate strips the puck, you're standing right there on the doorstep ready to go, or you have body position to do something with it.
Yeah.
Where, once you start, you don't have the puck and you float, which is what that entire line's doing,
Yeah.
then you run into trouble. So Brown moving up, haven't seen anything yet. Hopefully that sparks exactly, the back check, the defensive play, all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Um, yeah, so let's move
I
on
like
to some
I like that. News.
crap
Um,
tweets.
yeah, tweets. Sorry. Yeah, tweets. Our whole crap tweet segment today, because we toasted them the other week. This one is kind of a redemption story. So I just want to bring this up here. The Daily Wire has found most of the best butthurt tweets
So let's start.
responses.
Yeah. So the,
Yeah,
the
to
whole
the Vegas thing.
responses to all of this is the Vegas tweet that they put out against the Bruins. And instead of, every team will say, oh, here's your team's lines for today and list them all, where Vegas, instead, they listed the Bruins lines as all of the names listed off in the movie Ted, when they're trying to exactly right there. Mandy, Marilyn, Brittany, Tiffany, Candace, Brandy, Heather. That scene right there is what they're reliving. And boy, did Twitter,
Yeah.
the
So
non NHL following Twitter people get triggered.
That's it. So first off, we just want to, before anyone gets pissed off at us, we're not getting in this to be sexist or anything. Our whole joke is that the Golden Knights are just the worst at Twitter. And like all of these people that are getting super angry obviously haven't been following them and like documenting the struggles that this poor Twitter guy has gone through. Like I feel so bad for this guy that's operating their Twitter. Like he's just trying to be funny. And like he's only been at it for a few weeks. And like I guess like he's gone viral. Like, I mean, he's done his job. I guess you can consider it a success, but my goodness, like these people are angry at this poor Twitter guy.
They're so mad.
I'm not even gonna, if you're hopefully, yeah, well, I guess it's just on YouTube. So just read some of these tweets. Like, again, I don't want to be like, personally, I just think it was a bad joke. I don't think it was sexist. So but again,
I understand where it comes
opinion.
From.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just these guys are so bad at Twitter. Like, how could you? It's just like going to a stand-up comedian at an open mic and being like, "That's not a polished 40 minutes."
Or even just saying, it's like kind of going to Yuck Yuck's comedy and seeing one bad comedian, and then being like, Yuck Yuck's comedy is the worst.
Yeah, they
as an entire organization, do not have anything going on right now.
Yeah,
they are this, they're that, and so then you group them together, and yeah, there you go.
I just pulled up this USA Today article because it's nothing funny about sexism or Golden Knight tweets. I mean, obviously sexism isn't funny. We all know that. But like the tweet is, I'm sure some people found it funny. So there's probably something funny, especially people that really like the movie. But the best is just this paragraph is what kills me. And this is why I get so angry when I try and read. Like when I'm doing prep for this show, I just get so angry because people write this just garbage. You know, the way... Then there's probably even more the condescending and defensive way which the NHL's expansion team defended itself. So the idea that I'm assuming this younger person who's trying to be funny on Twitter is now responsible for
he's now responding and saying, "Oh no, it's a movie from Ted, which is a Boston-based movie."
Yeah.
That's where, and they're all Boston names that were referenced by the movie. That's all where we're coming from. Sorry you got offended.
That's it. So I don't know. To me, it's crap news. Like it's just people got to stop doing this shit. Like I'm so tired of reading this. That's all of our crap tweets for the week. We're gonna move into some good tweets.
That entire situation is the crappiest of the crap.
Yeah, agreed. So we're gonna move in to a couple tweets here where again we're on a Darth guy kick. We're big fans. So Dan,
if Dark guy exchanges his cigarettes for crack, he'd be voted the mayor of Toronto. I think that's gold.
I agree, and I don't
Rob Ford
disagree.
had his own show too, and no disrespect. Because he's dead. I'm sorry if that's insensitive.
Yeah. No, it is.
It's hilarious is what it is.
I think it's a great joke, but I think Dart Guy can make it to office on his own merit.
He's got the support of Leaf Nation.
I'm telling you, I'm TSN. All right, so next,
TSN,
here's our other. This is another
crack pipe away from being Toronto's mayor.
Again, like I appreciate the joke and I really do like it, but again, I think Dark Guy he deserves a little more credit.
Yeah, until we hear.
Once we hear his radio show, then we'll be able to see if he really needs.
From what I've seen, he seems like a really down to earth dude. So
yeah,
no doubt. He's personable AF
for sure. All right, couple Sens tweets. Here's one from our buddy Creech, which is he's a Sens fan.
And he's actually on TSN 1200 too.
As you can see on the screen,
many different reasons.
So, anyways, this is again just something that kind of came to us this week that we realized that we never thought of is, who is big time disrespected heading into the season, the Ottawa Senators, which I'm a convert this week. I really was impressed. So shout out to
Yeah, given
Creech.
our bandwagon games, and it's
Yeah.
true. It's
Yeah,
very,
no, you're
very
right. And
true.
as
They're
a
always
Sens fan,
disrespected.
yeah, for sure. And now that Carlson is coming back, and he's fired up about it, as you can see from this tweet. Ian Bender, that's all right, Sens fans who's still awake for the third period of this game.
This was the game against Vancouver, was it not?
Um,
I
October,
believe.
yeah, I think so. So I wasn't on Twitter though, but Carlson, he's just getting. You can just, I don't know, man. Especially watching them play like that, like watching them go on that 3-win stretch without him. He's probably just like, oh, let me in there, like let's go.
Let's score 10. Like, come
Yeah,
on, let's go.
yeah, for sure.
So he's in the lineup tonight. That'll be kind of interesting. And your Habbies play tonight too, actually.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Oh well. Well,
The
I'll worry about that
first
later.
of it.
So our last tweet here, Dan was kind of upset about this one. I think it's a great troll. It really depends on who this guy.
Yes.
It really depends on who this guy is. Like if this Sens Chirp account is just purely for shits and giggles trying to get rises out of people, I think he's succeeded at that. If this guy is like actually serious, then
Then
he may need a reality check, because when you search somebody's name, you're bound to get some results, especially like the
yeah,
top
and
player on a local team. Two of them are from Leafs Lunch, which is like literally a show about his team. And then yeah,
Overdrive. It's a radio
Overdrive. Yeah,
clip.
so it's like 3 radio clips. One asking if he gets the credit he deserves, and I guess Matthews is a power hitter. So that's a cool little fluff piece. So
It was kind of interesting to see that, and what actually brought me to this was seeing Nabil from TSN on Sports Center.
yeah,
He quote tweeted this, and he said, "I was hosting this, and we started with the MLB playoffs, and so he's coming at this from a." I'm disrespected that you said that Sports Center was a Matthews thing, whatever, blah blah blah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm just gonna keep scrolling, keep talking. I'm just gonna keep scrolling. Everyone on YouTube can see what's going
yeah,
on
they
here.
can see what's happening here.
So
So
I basically, like, my opinion on this whole matter is, again, is if this guy is a troll, masterful job. Some
hey,
of his
and I'll
comments here are
completely
throwing me
agree.
off, but but yeah. So again, I'm just gonna keep scrolling. Dan, keep talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing here is that
He's back. If he,
like you
it's
said,
because he's
he
backpedaling
definitely
in here.
searched
Yeah,
Austin Matthews. He searched it, and yes, all those articles are there. There's just as many articles about Carlson. Then again, the Senators aren't considered the center of the universe when it comes to NHL.
yeah.
And then he continues to kind of backpedal, but then he unbackpedals, and it's like, oh, was he serious? And then did he realize, like, okay, this is actually kind of ridiculous?
Yeah. Dan is upset. You can see here.
I wasn't upset. It's a bad tweet. This is a bad tweet.
I think it's a good tweet. Again, I
And
don't know.
yeah,
I don't know if he realizes how good a troll it was. Like, I think as an outsider that's not a Sens fan or a Leafs fan, it's just the whole ridiculousness of the entire thread, and like the anger on both sides is what's making me so happy.
yeah. And that's it too. Like those replies right there. Sorry,
I
we have a
know.
bigger fan base and actually worth covering.
Yeah.
Yeah, half century of absolute failure was sure riveting.
Yeah. Like, it's just all this. It just makes me smile that everyone is just so angry about it.
And then there's the thanks for this.
Yeah. Thanks for
In
this,
reference
for
to 4
sure.
goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
So
yeah, it's mostly just a back and forth butthurt making me laugh on this. So, thanks for joining us on that segment. We had a good time on Twitter this week. Sometimes we have a hard time finding tweets. This week it was pretty quick and easy.
it was served right up to us.
Yeah.
And all right, let's move right into our bandwagon of the week. We had honestly, there's a few teams having a good schedule. in terms of looking at competitive games.
Yeah.
We'll start with the
We had
runners
5,
up.
but we'll just go with our top 3 because
Yeah,
most of
we
them
had
were
Tampa
just
Bay and St. Louis as the two that were, we were arguing really close. Tampa Bay has New Jersey. They're playing tonight. And then they play Columbus and then Pittsburgh. So that is a strictly, well, I mean, that's 3 Metro teams.
Yeah.
So you really get a sense of those teams as well. St. Louis, you got Chicago, Colorado, and then Las Vegas. You have
I
Chicago.
think it's
We've seen
again,
Chicago.
yeah, but we haven't seen much of Colorado. Vegas would be fun, but they seem like Fleury's out, and I think Marchessault is out, so it might not be
Only
the
way
best
that
time
gets
to catch
exciting
them.
is if this is Malcolm Subban's breakout year.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And he has a time.
Yeah, definitely. So, but our winner, what we're gonna follow this week is Columbus. They're playing Winnipeg tonight. Then they're playing Tampa and LA. So we definitely haven't watched LA yet this year. So I'm interested to see that. I've been following
they've gone to a
Winnipeg
really
bit.
good start too.
Yeah, for sure. And Tampa, have we watched Tampa? I think we did the first week when they played Pittsburgh.
That first in the preseason, like that one? Or?
No, I think it was the first week of the season. I could be wrong. I may have just watched a game when I was watching. Either way, I'm excited. It should be some good hockey, and I'm interested to see what Columbus brings to the table.
In comparison
to LA,
because they're because I feel like honestly Columbus is built like a Western Conference team.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, like they did pretty well last year, so I'm interested to see. It will
be interesting.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, watch Columbus this week and come back next week, and we'll make up a bunch of shit about it.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll say we watched it and then elaborate on it.
Actually, I've been really enjoying watching it. I haven't. I mean, I'm still talking out of my ass because who really knows if I know what I'm looking at? But thanks for showing up, 2 viewers. We have 2 viewers right now. Hi, 2 viewers.
Hey, maybe it's Kristen in the living room.
Maybe it's probably my mom. Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom number 2. Love you, Linda.
All right. Bye, viewers.